All right. Well, on a different note, I've got a review for a TV show I got to check
Yeah,
out.
we're gonna switch it up. There you go.
Yeah, this one's actually a different take on the Wizard of Oz story. Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, the Munchkins, all that good stuff. It's called Emerald City. It's running now on NBC. First couple episodes are already out. You can catch them on demand. I DVR the sucker. Oh, excuse me. Basically, I'm really into Elseworlds. I've always dug alternate takes on established stories. Can they do interesting stuff? Can they do cool stuff with it? I love games that take on that. I love movies, comics, all that stuff. And I thought I'd really dig this show. Unfortunately, so far it's not the case, man. And my main thing is it is boring.
Really?
Yeah, it starts off.
So sad.
That's how you get it?
I was gonna watch that. It looks so. The trailers look kind of fast
The
paced.
trailers look dope, yeah, and they do put a lot of budget in their effects and then costumes and all this stuff and the whole thing. It's a beautiful show. The problem is in the story. The writing doesn't take advantage of any of the cool stuff that it presents. It's not really too much of a spoiler to say that they're kind of painting. This is a world with lots of witches, not just the East, the West, and Glinda. So lots of witches exist in this world. The only reason they're not like prominent and running stuff is because the wizard also exists as an actual wizard, and he's outlawed witchcraft. So a lot of the witches that still exist that aren't like the big bold outlaws like East and West, because they have so much power, they can just be like, I'm Al Capone. What, they operate underground, and they're painting Dorothy as a witch because this starts off. Dorothy is an EMT. And she gets sucked up in this freak tornado. She hides in a police car, and she lands on a woman. It's like, oh my God, I've hurt somebody. I got to go check out from the back seat. What was this? I didn't look in the car when I jumped into it. It's not just a police car; it's a canine unit. That's where they introduced Toto. And I'm like, these are interesting ideas.
Toto's a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Toto's bad. Toto's an attack dog. Toto's no joke.
Right.
And I'm like, these are awesome ideas. I can't wait to get into the meat of this. And they're painting Dorothy as like another witch because she knows, how to heal. She knows medicine. She knows how to make, concoctions that'll heal and compresses and stuff. So this to them is witchcraft. So she's like this new witch. And it's like, only a witch can kill a witch. That's why you killed so-and-so. I'm like, this is dope stuff. All this was really exciting. Yeah. And I'm like, cool. This happened in the first 10 minutes of the first episode. I'm like, I'm all in. Let's go. And then you get drug out into the most boring, like, dialogue. And then she's wandering around. It becomes like Dorothy in the first 10 minutes was just, I know my stuff. I'm not just going to die like a sucker out here. Okay, tornado, let me get in this car, have a little bit of defense. I might still die, but I tried. Stuff this dog. I tamed him. He was trying to eat my ass. It's like all this good stuff going on. And then we finally get to Oz, and I'm like, now it's about to get real. They have very interesting takes on the characters. The witches aren't just these three random suburban, my pretty, the Wicked Witch of the East, this badass sister, looks like Grace Jones with a bald head. And and she's fierce, and she's got like all these traps, like the people respect and fear her. Mostly fear. I'm like, these are interesting takes. Yeah. The Munchkins aren't like these little goofy people in the town. The Munchkins are a tribe of warriors, but they're like stuck in the dark ages where to them the witches aren't just witches, they're gods. So they're fierce, they're formidable, but they're also deathly afraid of these gods because they have powers they don't understand. I'm like, all this should have been amazing. And then the dialogue is just, 40-minute scenes where it's like, there's a misunderstanding. I'm trying to explain, but I can't explain because you're not listening. But, basically one solid conversation would have solved like half the problems in every episode so far. And I'm like, I hate when stories do that. You usually see it on like romantic comedies and stuff. And
how many episodes into you?
It's 3. It's 2 episodes live and 3 on demand.
Okay.
So it's still like early on, but early on at the very least, I shouldn't fall asleep in your second episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this thing
especially
had
when
all
you're
the
trying to
promise in the
set up
world.
the world.
Seriously.
That makes me so sad because really, I'm actually a big fan of Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Like Elseworlds, I actually read the original books when I was a kid.
Oh, those are dark, man.
They're really dark, and there's a lot going on. And I like that they kept the wizard as a villain, because in just about every iteration, he's a bad dude.
Blown away in the hot air balloon. I'm here.
Like even in the new one with James Franco, he's a scoundrel. He's a DB.
I'm a
Yeah, he's
scoundrel.
kind of a dude. That one wasn't bad. You saw it with Mila, not Mila, with
Yeah, no,
No,
she
it's
was
Mila
a
Kunis.
Yeah, Mila Kunis.
Kunis
Yeah.
was
Oh my gosh, I love that. And there was Tin Man a couple of years ago that was all right.
Tin Man was tedious.
I think that was like caught up in the James Franco. Like I'm trying to remake everything that was good.
Yeah, I'm not hating
like,
on him.
They did the Howl thing with like the whole
But like there's so much you can do with that, and like there is a lot of really good dialogue in the original books, and really ahead of the time.
No one told James Franco that there. Like you can like really good art. But you don't have to remake it and destroy it at the same time. You know what I mean? Because you're right. He was like he's a really smart guy that's into a lot of really artistic stuff. But he doesn't have to like remake all of it. I
would have agreed with you wholeheartedly until I saw what was it? Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Which was a damn good movie, and won me back.
But he did the Ginsberg movie, he did Howl. You know what I mean? He was like,
okay, he's
really absorbed in what he's into, and that's great.
You think that James Franco would be great at pooping on the party?
Yes, he's pooping on everything. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean he doesn't think it's coming from a good place. You know what I mean? Like that, he's really into what he's into. You know what I mean? And he's not wrong for that. But at the same time, he's taking it a bit too far. Where it's just like, leave it alone, James. We've all read it. We all know it's brilliant. You don't have to.
Get people who get to that level of fame and have that amount of money, what they normally become like really known for is they get deeply into drugs and deeply into alcohol and bring it all crashing down. This is a guy who's gone, and not like into Uwe Boll territory.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's almost the same level because, like, you're seeing things like if I'm going into a bookstore and I'm seeing like a Faulkner novel and I'm seeing the James Franco cover of the book, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, not really, you know what I mean? I'm seeing like the Cormac McCarthy book, and I'm seeing like James Franco on the cover of all these things. It's like, yeah, he remade it, but that's not, that's not what he's going for. You know what I mean? So
am I reading?
He's reading the right things, but he's not doing the justice to the.
It's the difference between reading Kafka's Metamorphosis and then do you make? Oh damn! I had the perfect. Do you make The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, or are you making Eight-Legged Freaks? With David Arquette. So it's like it depends on how they go.
Well,
I'm seeing.
You're right. We could go back and do that through all the way through, but you know what I mean. I mean, I think Franco is definitely at the time like trying to do way too much, and I think he's trying to.
Well, I've seen people do worse. That's why
tackle way too many projects. You know what I mean. And I know he was writing for Vice for a time too.
Well, everyone wrote
you know what I mean, like dissecting literature and everything like that. So he was dissecting Bret Easton Ellis's novels and things like that, and trying to explain those.
No, I think he went too much.
Those things, but it's definitely.
My question for Emerald City was, I've seen a couple of renditions and iterations of the Wizard of Oz world, etc. But like, how much source material do you think they have to work with? Because I just think the story is so little.
It's
like
so.
I think the story's tight, man. So I don't know how many seasons this thing is gonna last.
Well,
I don't want it to be like
we're familiar with the standard Wizard of Oz story, which is Dorothy lands in Oz. Yeah. She, there's
like
Yellow Brick Road.
Like 3 books total, right?
No, there's like 13 books. I think
there's
way more than 3.
The Adventures in Oz.
There's a shitload, but like, does yours qualify? It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
A lot of it is interesting stuff, mostly for enthusiasts. The story runs deep, but you have to be into the story. If you're not really like digging it,
it's like. But if you didn't dig any deeper and you're not like providing anything new, you know what I mean? Then what is already out there? Then what's the point?
Well, this actually had the promise of providing a lot of new stuff. I like the way they did the Yellow Brick Road. It's not a Yellow Brick Road. It's just a long string of poppy plants.
Also, not to cut you off, the setting. What's the setting in this? Is this like a dystopian future-ish? Or is this like the Wizard of Oz setting?
It's in Oz, this world that's kind of like a hodgepodge of different environments. Like I said, the Yellow Brick Road is. It's not quite jungle, not quite woods. It's more like an endless stream connection of grassland that connects these different parties. But where like Munchkin live, that's not like this little Willy Wonka looking like town. Yeah. That's a village in the woods where she landed. They live not prehistorically, but like medievally.
Okay.
And then once they leave there, like you see where the wizard lives. The wizard lives in this huge freaking palace. You see where the witches occupy. They're I guess they're fiefdoms. And they have castles, they have lavish houses. So it's like all this doesn't tie into one specific type of environment. And I like what they're doing with the Scarecrow. I'm not sure if this is definitive because they may want to introduce more characters down the line, but it seemed like he was
but that's one story. He's taken many different stories too, and like
absolutely, but
bending them to his own.
I'm hoping they use the breadth of the Wizard of Oz universe and really incorporate some of the outside stories. They don't just stick to the main one. They'll probably have to get
so
Dorothy
far,
too.
is it just like the Dorothy story arc?
So far, it's just the Dorothy story arc. That's one of my beefs with it. I mean, I understand that's what they need to do, like right off the bat.
Yeah, to catch
people in. Yeah. But be interesting with it. You've got like so many good points. It's like being given all this good stuff and then having it written by the retarded kid in the back of the class. You know, so I mean, I know it's not PC to say, but that's what I'm getting here.
Well, that's how it goes. Yeah.
The Scarecrow being a conglomeration of all three characters. That's dope. And there's reason for it. Like it starts off, he's like a hurt soldier. That's why he's all wobbly, to begin with. You know, she finds him when he's crucified. That's like some Caesar's Legion from Fallout stuff.
That's hardcore.
Yeah. And then she finds he's got a past and this ill ass sword.
Anybody we know who's playing the Scarecrow? These like familiar actors.
There's a couple of familiar faces, but no names that I recall offhand. Which kind of bugged me because I'm like, I know that person from this show.
I like that though because some of those guys might have like a breakthrough role. I love TV actors, man. Some of those guys put in a lot of hard work and underappreciated a lot.
Well, if this does pick up, it will be some stuff. I'm hoping they expand the mythos and really take advantage of it.
Yeah, nobody's really done that. Like if you think about the couple iterations we were talking about, no one's gone into like the missing Princess Ozma or the other books behind it. But I've got a question before we leave this for you guys.
Yeah.
There are so many different iterations, and you were saying that you'd seen. What are you guys' favorite iterations of Wizard of Oz? Because mine's The Wiz.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just when the Tin Man was crying on him. And trying to get the tears on him and bring him back to life. I was kind of turned off.
You can't go wrong with Nipsey Russell, man. I'm just
right. I don't know.
I'm a fan of the classic only because my son loves the classic. He watches with his grandmother, and the classic was just something.
It's good. Don't mess
up.
with
Those
the original sometimes. You know what I mean? It is great. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, shout out to the guy who committed suicide. In the background on the classic.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a myth.
It
that
was debunked,
like a bag
but
of flour.
it
What are you
looks
trying to do
just like he's about trying to do it. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
if that's the case, shout out to Pink Floyd.
All right,
shout out to good music, man. Yeah.
Herb, we're not leaving you out.
Seriously,
you got a favorite version?
The Futurama episode.
Yes!
Nice! Oh. Not bad.
Herb, my man, right there. Absolutely.
All right.
Futurama episode.
A child of the 80s and 90s. There was a Saturday morning cartoon show that went beyond the story and basically was if Dorothy had the shoes and the ability to travel back and forth, I guess Lydia and Beetlejuice style, to go back to Oz whenever she wanted. And she just went there and continued on having adventures. And some of them were taken from the books.
I remember that, actually.
It was dope, man. Like, my favorite episode was the one where the lion lost his roar. They had to go to this like dark ass forest.
I remember this.
What was the?
It was good. They had to go to this dark ass forest where he had to shout in different caves. I believe so. Yeah, when they still ran cartoons. And he's shouting into these caves, and he'd be like, he lost his roar, so he's like, ah!
Yeah. What was the Futurama one though? That shit was dope. Though.
Yeah, all he had to do was like inhale as like the cave roared back at him and trying different ones, and it's just like. And it would come back like a train horn. Like, no, not that one. It was,
yeah. I think you're right.
But that's me. All right. I don't think